20 years in the field of scientific and industrial innovations. The modern technologies of the company Sfera are a recognized brand whose effective developments have earned a great amount of trust and popularity. In this film, we will discuss innovative practices successfully applied in various areas of life: health improvement, cosmetology, sports, and active longevity.
With such a dynamic rhythm of life, it is important for a person to maintain not only their health, but for some people, their active longevity, which applies to mental health. And this implies both the emotional and mental components. Also, it is very important for people who work on their health, their active longevity, to maintain their resources, to use the natural regeneration technologies embedded within us. Each person has mechanisms of self-regeneration, self-regulation, and adaptation within the body, and Kozyrev mirrors Bioinformational Harmonizers give this precise effect, meaning those who want to obtain this health regeneration effect can undergo such sessions. This applies greatly to people with a large mental load. They must maintain clarity of mind, preserve their level of brain activity so it can process a huge amount of information. And Kozyrev mirrors also provide this effect, where neural connections and the brain's power are activated, and a person is mentally charged. For elderly people, it is very important to maintain their health, to keep their batteries charged, their energy levels high. The most important thing is to maintain our mental health, to keep a mental balance, because we're surrounded by a lot of stress factors, and we need to somehow cope with them all. Kozyrev mirrors Bioinformational Harmonizers do precisely this, maintaining active longevity both of the physical body and also of a person's mental resources when they're active even at 90 years old, and we have such examples.
I am 86 years old. I am a doctor of medical sciences, professor, and also an academician of the International Academy of Discoveries and Inventions. I worked at the Second Medical Institute for 20 years, starting as a resident. After defending my doctoral dissertation there, I moved to the Russian Medical Academy of Postgraduate Education, where I worked for 35 years. I have a great interest in phytotherapy. I specialize in infectious diseases, and I really thank God that that is the case. And why? It's because this field of expertise truly requires you to develop a deep and extensive understanding of many things. Because an infectious disease specialist must know skin diseases. They must know all kinds of diseases affecting women. Basically everything. Gastroenterology, every infectious disease specialist should be versed in it. The respiratory and upper respiratory tract. Naturally, you need to know lung diseases. It's a generalizing science of sorts. And then my academician and first teacher, Alexander Bilibin, he would always say the following: there is no such thing as non-infectious diseases. And I also have one very interesting need to study this problem. It is my favorite problem, and that is, of course, the human microbiome, which we, thanks to Alexander Bilibin, have been studying since 1960. However, our doctors began to know about this and started to pay attention to it only after the studies conducted by the Americans appeared and gained attention. Moreover, they launched about 7 different programs on the microbiome very successfully. They went very well, and currently, everyone is aware that a person is a creature that lives on Earth, but it has everything that our Earth has. That is, this microbiome is rather interesting also because it is one of the systems of the body, the human body, and the microbiome system. It's a very interesting problem, It is actually a problem that we can neither treat nor teach to a person without any knowledge of it. A person can only adapt all thanks to the microbiome. That's the issue at present. I have already undergone a course of Kozyrev mirrors, and I can, on the one hand, share my impressions. On the other hand, I didn't undergo them alone. I took my patients who really needed the treatment. They are also taking this course. So actually, I can probably also say why I really think that it should be able to help both my patients and also help me. I began my story about how I became intrigued and have interest in the microbiome, which is now one of the leading questions of interest when a sick patient comes to you. You examine them and want to restore their health. That is, people have already begun to pay attention to this. So what's the interesting part? That genuinely is the case. We don't have the ability to adapt if our microbiome is not in order. Which is why, if there is some other technique that acts as a kind of general regulator for our system, then it is really vital for us as people. It has to be employed. And you know, this is exactly what the mirror method does. It will be one of those regulating systems that is really useful to our patients. I have already formed the impression that it is indeed very, very effective, understand? I cannot speak about it in great detail at present as we haven't finished the sessions yet, but we'll definitely give our opinion in time. It is not just an opinion or an assumption, but we will confirm it from a scientific point of view. While tracking the dynamics, which ultimately is what I'm interested in as I also record these dynamics, we are additionally looking at the indicators on bioresonance diagnostics. And without a doubt, a clear effect is visible. A person's compensatory capabilities increase, and their psychology transforms remarkably. They develop greater self-confidence in themselves, and new goals appear for them. This is very important, as when a person is in pain, they believe they can't accomplish much in life. But now, I see in my patients how they have a new desire to live differently. And I believe this is very important. With a desire to live differently, to be healthy, life occurs completely differently. I think this will help a lot.
For many years, our research laboratory at Sfera has been studying the influence of the Kozyrev mirrors based on a person, the influence on their mental emotional state, and on their health. Independent scientific research has been conducted in leading institutes of Russia. For example, many years ago, research was conducted at the Baklov Institute of Cardiovascular Surgery in Pushino, the leading institute of the Russian Academy of Sciences, the Institute of Cell Biophysics. All these studies showed the positive effect of sessions in the Kozyrev mirrors on human health. Considering these factors, we have developed a direction for the use of Kozyrev mirrors in the field of cosmetology, in the field of preserving beauty, health, and active longevity. The combination of traditional cosmetology and sessions in Kozyrev mirrors will not only accelerate the effect of the procedures, the regeneration processes, but also enhance the effects of any cosmetic procedures. Our research laboratory is equipped with a large arsenal of diagnostics, which is why we record not only visual results, that is, how a person's appearance changes, but we also monitor these changes at a cellular level. By the gerontological curve, we can also track, for example, what a person's biological age is and what a person's calendar age is before visiting Kozyrev mirrors, the Bioinformational Harmonizers, as well as after the sessions. How these indicators have changed? Of course, for the better. Given our huge experience and the effectiveness of sessions at Kozyrev Mirrors, we have something to offer to specialists in the field of cosmetology.
My name is Elena Agafonova. I am a dermatologist, cosmetologist, candidate of medical sciences, an expert in anti-aging medicine. The clinic was initially planned to specialize in cosmetology, and we wanted to provide a wide range of cosmetological services. Later, as a dermatologist and cosmetologist, I realized that I couldn't work without specialists in adjacent areas because the skin is a mirror of the body's health, and it is impossible to treat dermatological diseases or make cosmetological manipulations without healing a person from the inside. And so I began to involve a therapist in my work, as well as an allergist and immunologist, and a gynecologist who looks at the hormonal profile of my patients. And the concept of an interdisciplinary approach was born, the concept of a consultation approach when I work in conjunction with a large number of specialists, and we comprehensively improve the health of our patients. I am also the medical director of the Concern Project, and I'm responsible for introducing new technologies, some innovative technologies. I am constantly searching for new approaches, new diagnostics. And now, in my practice, there is very close cooperation with a diagnostic center for bioresonance testing of the mental emotional state, where we actually look at the mental emotional status of the patient when they come to our clinic. And also, depending on this, we try and further develop strategic approaches in therapy and in other aspects. Thus, I constantly introduce modern and interesting practices to comprehensively correct the state of the human body. As a cosmetologist, I always tell my patients that we prevent aging. This means it is ideally better to come to us at an age of around 30 years old or a little over that. So, cosmetology is not a procedure for the elderly. It is a procedure for young people. We have the opposite opinion that you need to come to a cosmetologist when there are already age-related changes in the skin. In fact, you must come to a cosmetologist when the first signs of aging start to appear on the face, because our prophylactic methods are very strong. We can actually delay all stages of age-related changes on the face and delay the biological age of the patient. This is what we can do very effectively. When an older patient comes to us, cosmetology doesn't suffice. We can do very little to help there. Here, we need to administer integrative anti-aging medicine and comprehensively work with the patient. That is, look at their hormonal profile, their state of health, and the level of protein, of course, for the collagen to synthesize. A person's state of deficiency must be replenished so they can then engage in cosmetology correction. Otherwise, they will not get the desired effect and they will be dissatisfied with the work we've done on them. As such, we give our patients the opportunity not only to receive medical services, but also to be able to immediately relax on the same day, meaning they can recover and rest after the procedure so we can correct the mental emotional field. We are launching a research project together with a Sfera company to see and ascertain how effectively Kozyrev mirrors work in the field of cosmetology. All the technologies that I use in my clinic, I first try on myself. And I am always interested in how the method works, what I get in the process, what sensations I have, because it makes it easier for me to convey information to my patients and guests. I always give very genuine recommendations, as I have tried these methods myself. I have personally been to Kozyrev mirrors many times. I obtained a very good effect, and I really want my patients and guests to experience the same, so I will be happy to cooperate with the Sfera company.
It is very important for every woman to maintain her beauty and youth, and it goes without saying, I use traditional methods, go to beauty salons. I also decided to add a visit to Kozyrev mirrors. Why? Because I noticed the following effect, that it enhances the effects of regeneration, and most interestingly, my wrinkles really began to disappear much faster. Basically, if you use cosmetology, traditional methods and sessions with Kozyrev mirrors, the results will be much more effective. I came to Sfera as a client and underwent 10 sessions here. My issue was that I had very strong headaches, and I couldn't get rid of them. Doctors were struggling to make a diagnosis. I was jumping around hospitals, but the headaches weren't going away. After 10 sessions at Kozyrev mirrors, I realized, firstly, that very big changes had taken place in my life. The first thing was that my headaches had passed. I'd suffered from them for quite a long time. I began to take less medication, and the headaches, of course, they still occur, but not as often as they did before. I no longer experience these strong, agonizing states. And, of course, we all live in stressful environments. Naturally, I was in a much calmer state. I began to react less to external events, to sources of irritation. I became very, very calm, which, of course, was also reflected in my life and my work performance.
Your attention has crisis decreased. Your general readings are up. Your neurohumoral regulation is back to normal, and your mind and emotional state are restored.
I was so impressed that my business partner and I decided to open our own Kozyrev Mirror Center, which has been operating for almost a year and is quite successful.
Clients of the company Sfera speak about the worthwhile benefits of undergoing sessions.
Hello, my name is Svetlana Delfara. I'm a holistic consciousness therapist and a psychosomatologist. For 25 years, I lived in Paris. For the last year, I've been here in the French Alps. My life was connected with fashion and beauty for 30 years. At 50, I made a sharp career change, realizing that health, youth, and beauty are the result of our thoughts and attitude to ourselves and to others. And for 10 years now, I have been broadcasting this philosophy to the world, that the harmony of the inner world, as well as the outer one, is important for a happy and healthy life. Our entire emotional state affects our face and body. After all, a woman who accumulates grievances, lives constantly in internal tension, has chronic stress, which increases the level of cortisol and adrenaline, will always have furrowed eyebrows, pursed lips, and a displeased expression on her face. There is melancholy and fatigue in her eyes. But another woman at the same age, who experiences understanding, acceptance, trust, love, gratitude, maintains her youth and health for many years. Naturally, nutrition, sports, and our way of thinking are of great importance. But besides this, there are also very interesting technologies. So, about them. More than 10 years ago, I heard about the unusual properties of Kozyrev mirrors. It was my dream. But back then, it was extremely difficult to realize it. It was almost impossible to get onto the masterclass. However, in 2023, I learned about the opportunity in Moscow at the Sfera company. Unfortunately, the appointment was 4 months in advance, but dreams tend to come true, especially when they come from the heart. I visited the mirrors and had an incredible experience. They help maintain a healthy mental, emotional state at a deep level. After my inspiring experience, I began to strongly recommend that my clients consolidate their positive post-therapy results by attending sessions in the mirrors. Unfortunately, these practices are not available in Europe, and getting to Moscow today is a genuine quest. But I can say that it is worth it, for they don't just help to preserve your youth, these are life-changing mirrors. After all, Leonardo da Vinci and Nostradamus knew about their magical properties.
Здравствуйте.
Hello.
Hello.
And what is this interesting thing you have?
It's a new modern gadget that makes water useful and high quality.
Oh, great. How can I buy it?
You can contact our office. Naturally, for good health and excellent results, an integrated approach is important, as well as a combination of sports activities and sessions in the BIH Kozyrev's mirrors. In the city of Voskresensk in the Moscow region, at the representative office of the company, Sfera in the health center Spirit, junior hockey players from the team Chimik undergo sessions in the BIH, the so-called Bioinformational Harmonizers Kozyrev mirrors.
Ребят, добрый день. Сегодня у нас два человека.
Good afternoon, everyone. Today we have two people who will go through the hexagon mirror and one through the octagon. So, the hexagon mirror works with liquid mediums. It works with the lymphatic system and the circulatory system. Who do we have then? You go into the hexagon, take a seat. Our session lasts 40 minutes. You will sit and rest for 40 minutes. Relax in the mirror. So, you cut yourself today, you will be in the octagon today. The octagon mirror operates or works with denser structures. It works the muscles, bones, and skin. That is why this mirror is a must after training. After each person, an energy trace remains in the mirror. And to cleanse the mirror, we treat it with a disintegrator, and then lay quartz crystals and modules that correspond to each mirror. Artyom, look. After your workout today, you have wonderful results. Look at how much more stable your results have become. Your nervous system is working at 69% today. Your hormonal system is working at 81%. Your comprehensive health indicator is at 69%. Your mental emotional state is 69%. And your adaptation levels are at 57%. Now, let's see the level of tension. The tension index, look, is at the limits, well, the upper limits of the boundary. Because after training, of course, there tends to be a slightly tense state. Next, let's see what you and I have. Well, the stressful situation is dominating, right? You want to rest a little here. I think after the diagnostics, you will probably go straight to the mirrors. Then we will see what you have. Today, you have a good energy pyramid. 173 units. Do you see how much energy you have? 86 coming in and 87 going out. You see, you are already in a certain state of balance. Okay, then we look at your mental emotional state, 69%. Wonderful. Today, you really have good results.
Thank you very much. I got it.
Great. The players and the team captain share their impressions and excellent results.
Хоккеист 2008 года рождения.
I'm Artyom, a hockey player born in 2008. After the sessions, my sleep became much deeper and more stable. In the morning, I wake up without any problems. If before I'd get up at 7 o'clock in the morning, I'd feel lethargic and want to lie down. Now I get up easily, walk around, spend a full day in a good mood, in a positive mood. I go out on the ice. I've also improved the quality of my game, everything. My psychological state is at the highest level on the ice. But this is very important for us. I have a dream to join the Masters team, where everyone plays at a high level, to make a name for myself there. I hope this will somehow help me.
Я Дарусин Егор, капитан команды.
I'm Yegor Darusin, captain of the Chimik 2018. Before the procedure, I experienced insomnia, loss of concentration, and lack of emotions during training games. But after the procedures, everything changed. After the sessions, I noted that my training process became much more exciting. My concentration during training became much better. I remembered my coach's instructions and immediately used them in the game. Our physical condition and background emotions are important to the coaching staff and the entire management, since our results and victories directly depend on this. And I believe that these procedures help us with this. I'd like to advise my teammates to attend such procedures as often as possible, so our team scores are much better. As the team captain, I'd like to emphasize that this is a very important aspect in our sport.
Звенит в ушах лихая музыка атаки. Точней, отдай на клюшку, пас сильней ударь. И все в порядке, если только на площадке великолепная пятерка и вратарь. Суровый бой ведет ледовая дружина. Мы верим мужеству отчаянных парней. В хоккей играют настоящие мужчины. Русский играет в хоккей. Русский играет в хоккей. Пусть за воротами противника все чаще победной молнией пульсирует фонарь. Но если надо, защищается блестяще великолепная пятерка и вратарь. Суровый бой ведет ледовая дружина. Мы верим мужеству отчаянных парней. В хоккей играют настоящие мужчины. Трус не играет в хоккей. Трус не играет в хоккей.
В настоящее время тема оздоровительного туризма.
At present, the topic of health tourism is very relevant, and a lot of people aren't always able to go on vacation to relax. In fact, there are also such trips whereby leaving somewhere, a person needs to adapt to a new region, again with a different time zone. And here, Kozyrev mirrors can provide extremely powerful support when in a few sessions, a person can replenish their resources, relieve stress, recover, and always be in shape. Sessions in Kozyrev mirrors the Bioinformational Harmonizers are accessible technologies, modern technologies for every person, which every one of us can use to improve our life resources, restore our energy levels, and just be happy.